and we're on our way. We're making it big time. We're going to climb up to the top of this old tower. And at the top will be a Genesis game, and then I'll play it, and I'll tell you if I liked it or not. Because this is Genesis or Genesisn't. I'm Eric Allen. I'm here with Joe Drilling.
Yo.
And the guinea pigs are in the background over there. They're gonna
you and the guinea pig. It's one cam for.
Yeah. You can only barely see the guinea pig. But anyway, what is this game, Joe? You should tell people about this game while I play it.
So this is old. By the way, I think you're just wearing a hoodie and like a white T-shirt, but the way that it looks on the cam is like it looks like Bob Backlund when he wore his like blue ring robe with like a towel wrapped around his neck. That's the look you seem to be sporting now. You got a very Bob Backlund look going on tonight. But this is
it's a weird tie-dye grizzly bear T-shirt that I got when I went to see them, but. I mean, look, there's worse people you can compare me to than Bob Backlund.
It's true. It's true.
I could run for president and maybe win. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I could be your Democratic nominee.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're old enough now that you could do that.
It's true, I could. All right, well, I guess I know what I'm doing for the next year and a half.
That's right. Everybody else is running. Why not you?
Yeah.
So this is Old Towers, which is deceptive because it's a new game.
Aha!
It's from a Russian developer.
Well, they should have slowed down. There'd be less bugs. Oh, I died. Yeah, I deserved that. That's what I get for making that joke.
They're called Retro Souls, and they're from Novosibirsk. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly at all. But Novosibirsk, Russia.
Okay.
And this appears to be their first game for the Genesis. But they have previously done a couple games on the NES and a game on the Commodore 64 and a couple of games, several games for the ZX Spectrum. So yeah, but this is their.
It's probably worth mentioning that this is this is a brand new game that I'm playing on a Genesis emulator. So theoretically, you could put this on a cartridge or whatever, and just play it on a Genesis.
Yeah, this is an actual Sega Genesis ROM. So this is like, if it's not just in the style of the Genesis, this is a Genesis game. I could put this on my EverDrive and play it on my actual Genesis. So,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just pretty dope.
It's also free on itch.io. So if you go to itch.io and type in Old Towers, you can find it there.
Yep. And I think you can also download it directly from their website. Sky Reynolds says, nice retro aesthetic. Judging from the title, look like it'll be a medieval sort of ice climber. So it doesn't look actually like it plays. I mean, the title has that vibe, but it does not actually look like it plays like ice climber.
No, it's more like a puzzle game. So you move just in the cardinal directions, and your character. It's like it is a puzzle game. Like this is a puzzle game that exists where you hit like left or right, and the character goes all the way to that part of the level or up and down or whatever, and so you have to sort of navigate your way around using those restrictions, and there's like obstacles and things that get in your way, and whoop, like that spiky block that I just hit. It seems like there's like sometimes there's two characters that you have to control and get like navigate at the same, not at the same time. You like switch back and forth. But I mean, I can tell you already, this is much better than quite a few of the games that we've done on this show before. Yeah. I would say that it's better than the game that we played last week.
Yeah, this looks like something you'd be into because I'm kind of getting like it's not the same as Lolo, but it kind of feels like Lolo.
Yeah, I mean a little bit. It's just it's an old 16-bit kind of puzzle game with a kind of a nice, nice theme, kind of a decent look to it. A lot of different weird little obstacles that you have to. Part of the puzzle is figuring out how to interact with the various obstacles and how to dodge them. we'll see if there's some coins someplace here.
Yeah, I think the thing that actually is pretty impressive about this is how bright the colors are. A
Yeah.
lot of Genesis games can tend to have like a muddier color palette, and this one looks really vibrant. So
I wonder where I missed. So you kind of have to collect all the coins, and then an exit is supposed to open, but I'm not getting the exit here. Oh, I see, because I see. There's a second. The second guy is up here. So you have to push A occasionally to switch characters. I didn't realize the second character was even available here.
All right, yeah.
Now I have to figure out how to get into the middle there. Oh, there we go. Oh, fuck. God damn it. As it turns out, it's not actually that difficult, but... if you're not paying attention, you get killed by the spiky block. So there was another game that came out last year that was like $20 on Steam or something that we had talked about testing, but
it was also on itch, I think.
I was waiting to see like what the word of mouth was before I dropped $20 on a game. I don't remember what that was called though. If I remember correctly, it was a little bit more
Tanglewood.
Tanglewood.
Yeah, that was a Kickstarter thing. And yeah, you could buy the game on a cartridge.
Right.
But also, let's see here. But it is on itch.io as well. And
oh shit!
It's 14 British pounds, and then you get the full game, and it's just like this. It's like this. It's a ROM, and you can put it on a flash card or play it in an emulator or whatever.
That killed me that time.
But there is a demo version of Tanglewood. It's free. You can get a demo. I don't know how long the demo is, but I feel like the reception of Tanglewood was pretty positive for the people who actually, looked at it and talked about it. Which, that's always the thing, right? How many people are going to look at, new games getting released on this type of vintage hardware in the modern age?
Yeah, I mean, aside from you, I don't think I even heard about it from anybody else. So you can actually, like, the characters function as, like, door stops for each other.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
Which will probably be important to solving puzzles later on. I seem to have maybe fucked myself here.
Uh-oh, yeah. But it could be important right now. I think what you were supposed to do is instead of before going down, have the other guy go around the other way and get blocked from the other, block
and then go
from
down
the other side, so they can both go straight down. Yeah, this one I found out about, I believe. So every week I watch the Retro RGB news roundup that Bob from Retro RGB does, which a lot of it is about like new mods and flash carts and how to get the best quality video signal from. And that's how the site started, right? It was this guy Bob would just he wrote sort of guides on how to get the best quality video signals out of your old game hardware. And it sort of evolved into this collaborative thing where they just kind of cover general news about the Mr. Project and flashcards and old games kind of just in general. And this was one of the things that got covered there, and so that's how I found out about it. And when I looked at it, it looked pretty dope, so I suggested that you check it out this week. So that's how we ended up here. But yeah, there's not a lot of people who cover this sort of stuff, or care to bring this stuff up. There's also a blog that I follow called Indie Retrogames, which is Indie Retro News.
Yes.
They just do like new indie games that look like old games, and also news about old games and all that kind of stuff. In fact, there was some pretty big new old game news yesterday, but I think maybe we'll save that for the mainstream.
Sure.
Let's see. RhinoNar14 says, "Hey guys, howdy.
Hello.
Are there ice physics in this level?" Oh wait,
I mean, you kind of, yeah, it's all ice physics all the time, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. When I first looked at this and just at the screenshots, I kind of thought it was going to be like what's the game? What's the one that we play every time we get together with like more than two of us, and you shoot each other with arrows? And stuff?
Towerfall.
Towerfall, yeah, that was like just looking at stills. That was sort of the vibe I got, especially with like the two characters. Like I was like, oh, this is like a two-player, versus thing potentially. Like oh, so there are ice physics actually. Those corner blocks are like.
Well, so
am I reading that right?
Yeah, well, they function the same way in the first level. They just only appeared in one specific space.
Yeah, okay.
Damn it. I don't know if there's a look. Was there a look button on that? Can you look at the
of course.
The thing and see if there was a look button?
Free camera mode is the B button.
How do I make that work?
It just says free camera mode is the B button.
Okay, there we go. I can go up and down.
A switches the player. B is free camera mode.
Because
C
restarts
the level.
So when the thing is there, you can go up and down. But if you're That's good. That's good. Alright, so now I need to go up. I may have made a mistake here. Whoops, I definitely made a mistake there. Push start to continue. This game had actually come out in like 1993. When you continued, you'd have to start all the way at the beginning of the game again. So
it wouldn't really be a continue at that point.
Yeah. God damn it! What am I doing?
You would at least get checked back like several stages, right? If this was a genuine.
Yeah, I was trying to play. I was just like screwing around my Switch the other day, and I played some Mario 3.
Yeah. And
I had forgotten that when you lose all your lives in that game, it restarts you at the very beginning of the fucking world that you were on.
Yep. Although, how often do you really lose all of your lives in Mario 3?
Well, when you're trying to play on a Switch with that shit-ass D-pad and those clicky, shitty buttons, the answer is quite a bit.
I thought about gifting you one of those hoary left Joy-Cons with the D-pad.
Yeah, I don't. Are those supposed to be good? Do people like those?
So I ended up getting one for myself first because I didn't want to gift you something that wasn't good. And so the time I've spent with it, I like it. The only drawback to it is that there's no wireless, so it doesn't work with the flip grip. Which I don't know if you got yourself a flip grip or not. But I did.
I'm not that. I am definitely not into old arcade games enough to justify the price of a thing like that. But
I mean, it was like $15.
I think it's really awesome. Yeah, but I like some $15 is a lot of money to spend on something you would literally never use.
Yeah, I mean that's true. It works like the first thing I did was play like Punch Out with it.
Yeah, I think it's
Like-
I think it's super dope that exists though. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I beat Ikaruga with it, and using it with the Hori D-pad would be great for stuff like Ikaruga, because man, that game is not forgiving, and therefore is like not the greatest experience with those finicky like 4 separate buttons. And like I totally get why Nintendo did that, right? Because the purpose of the Joy-Con is to be able to detach them and use them as 2 separate controllers.
Oh, Nintendo.
But having a like real legit like I played a lot of Dead Souls.
Oh yeah, Dead Cells.
Or Dead Cells.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I played a lot of
Dead Cells
with the
Yeah.
with the D-pad.
I played through
and,
all of
it was
Celeste,
great
and
for that.
I believe that it effectively like doubled my amount of deaths.
Probably. I still haven't played that game. I really need to play that.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't know.
It's our game of the year, man.
I know. Rhinonar wants to know if there will be a Batman Returns, same name, different game. I gotta tell you, see, I love it. People ask or they request things, and like on a long enough timeline, I will get to every game. But yes, there is no current plan for like when that would happen.
When's Batman Forever coming? That one should happen first, right?
Well, I mean, if I'm going chronologically, which
Uh-huh.
I'm obviously not, because I went right from
I
Batman
paid my
to-
$50, Joe. I want Batman. I don't think those are probably not different enough to justify.
Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Well, the arcade game is like way
All
different.
right. Well, that's what you're doing then. That's what my request is.
Okay, well, I mean that's true. You did.
I did. I hadn't sold it on anything yet, so there you go.
All right.
Oh boy. Maybe I don't want that. I don't know.
Well, think it over. And excuse me, I said this when we were podcasting with a buddy of ours the other day, but I live across the street from a firehouse now.
Yes.
So, apologies for any future sirens that come through on a stream or whatever. That's gonna happen. So, wow, man, these skulls are not messing around. Are you supposed to go up? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I got it. Oh, I got just those two. Oh, fuck. I made that block disappear, and then I forgot I made the block disappear, and then I died.
Skyworld says I played Batman Forever on the Super NES for about 11 minutes or so at a friend's house when I was a kid, and I think that was enough. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's a bad game. They're both bad games.
Omega Jack Red 666 says, "Hello guys, I'm nearly caught back up with Resident Evil games on Xbox One. All I need now is Code Veronica X. Also, I'm glad that people are making their own Genesis games." So to the first point, I mean, I don't know, Eric, you played Code Veronica more recently than I did. I remember liking it, but it's not.
It's all right. It's it's the one I would most be interested in seeing another remake of, just because of how like flawed it is. Like they could take another shot at that game and make it a lot better.
Yeah. Also, Resident Evil 0 falls into that same category.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that Code Veronica is more interesting, though. I think that you go to like more interesting places, and it's also like more integral to the like broad Resident Evil lore or whatever, because you know you find that the base on Antarctica where you sort of like discover the genesis of the T-Virus project and stuff like that.
Genesis.
That's my favorite Genesis record.
It's my favorite new Devin
The
Townsend
T-Virus
song.
project.
And then on your second
Kurt.
point, also hi Kurt. On the second point, yeah, it's dope that people make homebrew Genesis games. And homebrew anything games. I actually am waiting right now. I backed a Kickstarter for a new NES game, a 4-player NES game called Micro Mages, which is like a 4-player action platformer thing, which I think is really needed. The NES only had one 4-player, sort of traditional actiony platformery thing, and it was Nightmare on Elm Street. So,
Not a great game.
yeah, it's a weird game too, to be sure. So, you know, this idea of somebody else is doing that, is making that happen, is pretty cool. And so I think that's, I actually have a cartridge that is, it's not one of a kind, but it's maybe one of 5 that was, I won it at the Midwest Gaming Classic in 2011, and it's like a homebrew showcase cartridge that has a bunch of, it's got like an NES port of Yar's Revenge on it, which was actually the game that I played to win it. It's a high score thing on this homebrew port of Yar's Revenge to the NES.
Yar's Revenge is a great fucking video game.
Yeah, Yar's Revenge is dope. And then it's got a bunch of, and stuff that eventually got published, like there's a game called Assimilate, which I believe you can get on a cart from retrousb.com, and comes with the Retro AVS. Like if you buy Retro AVS, it's one of their games that they publish that comes with the Retro AVS, which is their FPGA NES thing. And there's like an early version of that on this cartridge and stuff. So I think the homebrew scene is really cool. I think more of that exists on like the Atari 2600 and
right. Stuff that has a very, very low bar of entry.
Right, yeah, stuff that it's a lot easier to program for. There is definitely like a fair amount of NES stuff though, and the thing is that it sort of varies wildly in quality, the NES homebrew stuff. Yeah. Like some of it's really good, and some of it is like you can tell that like folks just it was just, it's harder to program. Everything in the NES was written in assembly language, and you now in like modern days you can kind of use a compiler, but I think it's just different when you're like one dude in your bedroom or your office versus like even a team of like 6 people who had just been doing NES games for like, you know, 5 years by the time 1990 rolled around, and were making some of the really cool stuff. I think the Genesis is a little bit friendlier in that way. Like I've been told that the central processor of the Genesis was used on a bunch of other computer standards, and Neo Geo actually shares a some common guts with the Genesis, so that's a little more universal. The NES was sort of a little more bespoke, for lack of a better term, although my wife yells at me for using that term because she insists the way people use it now is not correct. But
literally incorrect.
You know, yeah, literally incorrect. So but the homebrew scene is really interesting, and I think with new Genesis games, like I said, Eric said earlier that I mentioned Tanglewood to him when that came out, you have to actually throw down $20 or whatever it is, whatever the exchange rate is to get it, and this one was a pay what you want. So actually, I think we should maybe throw these guys a couple of bucks after we're done with this, because this looks like it's a pretty good game.
Yeah, this is pretty dope. I like this. I think this would be something I'd be more likely to spend time with on my phone. But yeah, I could definitely see myself playing this quite a bit, like while sitting in the bathroom or whatever. Right. This would be a good pooping game for a couple weeks or so.
Yeah, Switch port when, Retro Souls.
Yeah.
Get this game on Switch, and it'll be the new ultimate pooping game. Oh, that's kind of bogus. That when those spiked blocks travel, if they travel like next to you, the spikes can like kind of brush past you and kill you.
Yeah, it seems like they occupy more grid spaces than it appears like they would occupy.
Yeah. Omega Jack Reds 666. I'm not gonna stop.
You just say Jack or
Jack. He says I have to wait till later this year to get Devil May Cry 5. I forgot Devil May Cry 5 was coming out this week. Like Capcom needs to space their major releases out a little bit more.
Is it tomorrow? No, Friday. 2 days.
Friday, I think.
Looks good. Actually, I watched there was a 20-minute video up on giantbomb.com today. I was just watching that while I was getting set up for this, and it actually looks pretty good. Like, I don't know if I'm going to rush right out and buy it or not. It doesn't excite me in the way that the last one did. Or like DMC, I watched some DMC. Is like, holy shit, that looks fucking awesome. I need to check that out. But this looks like a totally pretty good Devil May Cry game.
Definitely better than Devil May Cry 4. Which
Devil May Cry 4 played excellently, but the bosses and the level design and the character design and the story were all terrible, so it's still a bad game.
Yeah,
but...
I didn't like Devil May Cry 4. In fact, by volume, I only like about half of the Devil May Cry series.
1 and 3?
1, 3, and the remake.
DMC.
Yeah, well, though 5 looks good, I'm gonna give 5
Was
a chance.
DMC a remake? I don't know if I would even call like that was like
a
its
reboot.
Own... Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there were people who didn't like it. I honestly liked it quite a bit. I played through the whole thing. I dug it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was significantly less technical than the previous Devil May Cry games, but I still thought it was super fun.
Yeah.
Until I had that bug that happened, so I couldn't. I think you were there. I think we were playing it for Extra Life at some point, and I get to this point where there was supposed to be like a grapple point or something that wouldn't show up, and then I just couldn't. Even reloading the game still didn't work, so that was the end of my playthrough. But I still thought it was really cool.
I played it on, I don't remember if it was PS3 or Xbox 360, but I did not play it on PC, so I didn't run into any of those issues. But yeah, I mean, I think that's weird that, I mean, I guess Capcom's just riding the money train these days, but that seems weird that you would put Resident Evil 2 in January and Devil May Cry in like early March. Like that seems weird. Like I can't think of anything else they have on their slate this year that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
announced yet.
I guess it's weird for one company to do that, but I don't know if it's that weird because like there's not a lot of video games out right now, so they're kind of owning this early part of the year, which is probably pretty good for them.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
There's been hardly anything, certainly nothing from the big developers out recently. There was kind of a neat, I don't know if you saw it or not, I can't remember what it's called, but there was kind of a neat looking shoot 'em up that just came out. Kind of looked like Thunder Force, one of the games we did on here, I think, right?
Yeah, we did Thunder Force 3. I still have to put you.
It reminded me quite a bit of that like style of thing. Like it didn't seem like full on bullet hell or anything. It seemed more like an older shooter.
Right. Do you remember what it was called?
It's called Devil something or other. Let me look real quick because I'm gonna end this real soon, anyways. Devil Engine. That's it. Looks really good. You should. I'll send you a link to the Giant Bomb. Quick look. Yeah, it's like $15 or something. I wish I can't play those games. I suck at them. I've always sucked at them.
Yeah, Super Hydro was one that I wanted to check out. That I was supposed to be very like Gradius style, and I still haven't checked that one. Like that developer, I believe they're a Spanish developer. They did Cursed Castellan, which is like, or Cursed Castilla, which is like a homage to Ghouls and Ghosts, and then they did Super Hydro, which is like a homage to Life Force, and I feel like I should play both of those, and I have yet to play either of them. But,
yeah, this game's aesthetic was a little bit Life Forcey, or like biomechanical stuff, which I thought was pretty neat. It looked cool.
Yeah. And it's on Switch apparently, or it's going to be.
Yeah.
Switch. So I'm into that. Yeah, I'll check out the Giant Bomb quick look and see what I make of it. That looks
or
cool.
just a trailer or whatever. You can get I mean, it takes you like 5 minutes to get an idea of what sort of style of game it is. But it had a really cool, like I thought it had a neat upgrade system. Where like they were flipping between different types without having to like reboot at level 1, and also like crazy homing guns and stuff. But cool. Anyways, all right. Well, anyway, it's been about a half an hour of Old Towers. I like this game. I'm sucking at this level because I'm not really paying attention. But this is way better than I would say probably half or so of the games that I played for this.
5 games you played.
Yeah.
You had a board at one point that we were kind of keeping track, like
it's over there someplace.
Fighters style, sort of, but we fell off of that train.
I mean, the part of the problem is that the board's not really big enough for all the games at this point.
Right.
Yeah, you sort of just need to keep a tally.
Yeah.
You know, just tick off. Isn't.
Let me see. Let me tick
up.
But
I give this game a solid is. Like I said, this would be something I'd be more likely to play more of if it was on a phone or something. But this is right up my alley. I do like this old style of like slightly timing based sort of puzzle action games. Like you said, Lolo was a good example of that. But like Kickle Cubicle is a game that I enjoy quite a bit. And
that's what I meant more than Lolo. It's a lot because Kickle Cubicle, when you kick an ice block, it goes until it hits the wall.
Yep. There's a bunch of those kinds of games that I used to play a lot. But anyway, that's Old Towers. I give it a thumbs up. It's free on itch.io. I believe that they asked for like $2, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna send them a couple bucks. And
nice.
It's totally worth it. Totally worth free. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we'll there's some stuff in the chat, but we'll talk about. I'll address that on the main stream when we get started back up with our next thing. I don't want to.
I mean, we can keep going. I don't care.
The rest of this.
That's fine. Is it
okay? All right, fine.
Related?
Well, I'll just
Let's do it.
Some of it. Rhino Nars. It's germane to the conversation we were having about Devil May Cry and stuff. So. Rhino Nar says, I played the bad Super NES games on a Raspberry Pi at a party, Beavis and Butthead, and American Tail, and Inspector Gadget, and it goes right for bad and not in a fun way. Yep, that was...
It's true, they are.
Yeah. Let's see. Mega Jack Red says, Devil May Cry 5 is going to get some weird DLCs. I don't know anything about that stuff. Some of the early reviews are saying it's the best DMC yet.
Wow.
But he says he'll be the judge of that. I too will be the judge of that. I would find it hard to believe that they'd outdo the first one. The first one was such a major step.
I think my favorite one is DMC. I think my favorite one's a re-release one. That game's fucking wild.
I don't know. I still think the first one is the one that does it. And again,
that one's very good. 3 is very good.
Yeah, 3 is very good. And he also says I felt RE2 remake is truly amazing in what it does.
Best DMC game is Bayonetta.
There you go. I mean, I think Bayonetta 1 is better than any of the Devil May Cry games. I will say that too.
It's not. I mean, that's saying like those are all great games.
They are. Right. Well, not all the Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry 3, DMC, and Bayonetta are all great games.
Yes.
Not 2, not 4. Those aren't great games. 2's a mess. But, 4 is just so fucking boring.
Yeah. That is. And it also like changed Dante, so he's not like the smart ass. While he's cracking hero.
He's somehow even more lame in 4.
Yeah. But yeah, Jack Red just says RE2 remake is really dope, and he likes some aspects of the original better, but he loves them both, and I also love them both. Fair. So I feel you on that.
Good.
So,
all right.
And that's it for this episode of Genesis or Genesisn't. But we'll be back in a couple minutes with something else.
Na 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 na.